World Cup 2026 confirms 32 teams advancing. Historic upsets. The World Cup 2026 has officially concluded its group stage after 72 thrilling matches, determining the 32 teams that have secured a spot in the tournament's first ever round of 32, the new format, featuring 48 participating teams and a round of 32, has delivered a unique World Cup experience, where various footballing nations made history for the first time, while a number of major powerhouses were forced to make an early exit. The 24 teams finishing first and second in their respective groups, along with the 8 best third-place teams, have advanced to the next stage. This marks the first time the World Cup has utilized this format, keeping the race for knockout stage spots alive until the final minutes of the last group stage matches. Argentina stands out as one of the most impressive teams. The defending champions won all 3 of their group stage matches and advanced to the round of 16 in excellent form. Lionel Messi remained the focal point, scoring 6 goals and setting an unprecedented record by finding the net in 7 consecutive World Cup matches. It is the dazzling performance of the 39-year-old superstar that has led to Argentina being considered the top contender for the title. Brazil, England, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands also advanced to the knockout stage, though their respective journeys differed significantly. Portugal disappointed by finishing second in their group following a draw with Colombia, landing Cristiano Ronaldo and his teammates in the bracket dubbed the bracket of death by international media. Meanwhile, Argentina found themselves in a much more favorable bracket. Alongside the heavyweights, the 2026 World Cup also saw a series of fairy-tale stories unfold. The Democratic Republic of the Congo secured a spot in the knockout stage for the first time after a comeback victory against Uzbekistan. Cape Verde continued to spring surprises by reaching the round of 16 in their World Cup debut. Algeria also achieved a memorable milestone by advancing past the group stage for the second time in their history, while Austria ended a 44-year wait to return to the World Cup knockout rounds. At the other end of the spectrum, there were major disappointments. South Korea was eliminated after securing only 3 points, a tally insufficient to place them among the 8 best third-place teams. Iran's exit was even more bitter. Despite drawing all 3 of their matches, they were knocked out due to Austria's 3-3 equalizer against Algeria in the 95th minute. That single stoppage time goal completely altered the landscape, pushing Iran down to 9th place in the ranking of third-place teams. Scotland, Uruguay, Qatar, Turkey, Panama, Haiti, Tunisia, and the Czech Republic also had to bid farewell to the tournament. Notably, Panama became the only team at the 2026 World Cup to fail to score a single goal before being eliminated. According to FIFA, the 2026 World Cup group stage truly embodied the spirit of the planet's biggest tournament: historic records, shock results, spectacular comebacks, and tears of heartbreak. The new format not only created more opportunities for mid-tier teams, but also made the race to advance more thrilling than ever. The 2026 World Cup has now officially entered the knockout stage. From the round of 32 onwards, a single mistake could cost a team their place in the tournament and result in an early flight home. High-stakes clashes, such as Brazil versus Japan, Portugal against Croatia, and Argentina facing Cape Verde, promise to usher in a thrilling new chapter. Following an emotionally charged group stage, the 2026 World Cup is poised for its most intense phase. With only 32 teams remaining, the race for the prestigious gold trophy truly begins. Let's look back at the highlights of the 2026 World Cup group stage. Featuring a 48-team format, the tournament proved that quality did not suffer, mid-tier teams showed improvement, and the group stage delivered drama right down to the final minute. Across the 72 matches of this historic first 48-team group stage, the tournament evoked a full spectrum of emotions. While title contenders demonstrated their strength, the gap between footballing nations is narrowing faster than ever. If the 2022 World Cup is remembered for a series of earth-shattering upsets, such as Saudi Arabia defeating Argentina or Morocco reaching the semifinals, then the 2026 World Cup reveals a different trend. Surprises no longer stem from isolated matches, but rather from the consistent progress of numerous mid-tier teams. The 48-team format delivers a more exciting group stage than anticipated. Prior to the tournament, FIFA faced skepticism that expanding from 32 to 48 teams would dilute the quality of play. However, that did not happen, dividing the field into 12 groups of 4, and advancing the 8 best third-place teams, kept the suspense alive in almost every group right up to the final round of matches. With many teams still in contention for the knockout stage heading into the last match day, the calculations regarding points, goal difference, and goals scored became incredibly tense. This can be considered the first success of the 48-team World Cup. Europe remains a powerhouse, while South America no longer holds absolute dominance. A look at the teams that advanced from the group stage confirms UEFA's dominant status. Contenders such as France, England, Germany, Spain, Portugal, and Belgium all successfully reached the knockout rounds. Notably, many teams not only secured qualification, but also demonstrated impressive squad depth. Thomas Tuchel's England side had an unconvincing start, drawing with Ghana, but grew increasingly steady as the tournament progressed. A 2-0 victory over Panama secured them the top spot in the group. Meanwhile, Harry Kane set a record by scoring his 11th World Cup goal, and Jude Bellingham continued to prove himself as a leader of the new generation. France continues to look like a title contender, displaying a style of play that balances experience with youthful energy. Brazil and Argentina are still considered title contenders. However, the gap between them and the rest of the field has narrowed. Many matches have demonstrated that South American teams can no longer easily dictate the game, as they did in previous World Cups. This is the result of significant strides made by smaller footballing nations in sports science, data analysis, and defensive organization. Africa is the standout performer, while Asia is left with only 2 representatives. If one had to choose the most impressive region of the group stage, it would be Africa. 9 out of 10 participating teams advanced, with Tunisia being the only one eliminated. Morocco continued its success following its 2022 World Cup heroics, by going unbeaten in the group stage. Egypt achieved a historic milestone by advancing past the group stage. Algeria replicated their 2014 World Cup feat after a 12-year wait by also progressing. South Africa secured a spot in the next round, and the DR Congo advanced to the round of 32 following a decisive victory over Uzbekistan. The common traits shared by these African representatives include excellent physical fitness, rapid transition speeds, and increasing adherence to tactical discipline. They are no longer teams that rely solely on defensive counterattacking. Compared to the 2022 World Cup, Asian football has been disappointing, with 7 out of 9 participating teams eliminated. Japan and South Korea remain the 2 leading contenders, but while Japan soared, South Korea suffered a heartbreaking defeat due to tactical errors in their final match. Iran fought valiantly, but lacked the luck to advance. Overall, Asian teams played more organized football and had better physical fitness, but still lacked the star players capable of deciding big matches. Tactics are changing, and tactics are evolving, and easy matches are a thing of the past. A notable trend is the increasing number of teams employing high pressing, flexible 3 centre-back formations, highly advanced fullbacks, and number 9 strikers who drop deep to orchestrate play. The role of the modern centre-forward is becoming more akin to that of a playmaker than a mere goalscorer. Harry Kane is a prime example. Meanwhile, AI, big data, and video analytics are being leveraged by many coaches to adjust tactics mid-match. The most interesting aspect is that there are no longer any easy matches. While World Cups in the past often featured games ending in 4-0 or 5-0 routs, such lopsided results are far less common this year. Even teams considered underdogs are displaying organized defense, effective pressing, and efficient counterattacking. The gap between the world's 15th ranked team and the 50th ranked team is significantly narrower than it was a decade ago. Following the group stage, the 2026 World Cup has largely demonstrated that the decision to expand the tournament to 48 teams did not compromise quality, as many had feared. On the contrary, the number of competitive teams has risen, matches have become more evenly contested, and the group stage remained compelling right up to the final round of fixtures. While heavyweights such as England, France, Germany, Brazil, and Argentina remain the top contenders, representatives from Africa, Asia, and emerging football nations have shown that they are no longer merely there to make up the numbers. The round of 32 therefore promises plenty of surprises, as the line between established giants and dark horses becomes increasingly blurred. The group stage was merely a warm-up. The real World Cup begins with the knockout stage, a phase where every mistake comes at a price and the biggest surprises often unfold. Messi surges ahead in the 2026 World Cup Golden Boot race. The 2026 World Cup group stage saw a scoring frenzy among forwards, making the race for this year's Golden Boot more fiercely contested than ever. With a spectacular goal against Jordan, superstar Lionel Messi officially reached the 6-goal mark, standing alone at the top of the tournament's top scorer list. However, young strikers Kylian Mbappé and Erling Haaland are hot on their heels, each with 4 goals, and are poised to step up the pace in the upcoming do-or-die matches. Although veteran heavyweights Harry Kane and Cristiano Ronaldo have temporarily fallen behind with just 2 goals apiece, the pedigree of these world-class finishers remains a constant threat to any defense in the knockout stage. Round of 32 matchups confirmed. Following the group stage, the top 32 teams have been determined to advance to the knockout round. The specific schedule is as follows: June 28, South Africa vs Canada; June 29, Germany vs Paraguay; June 29, Netherlands vs Morocco; June 29, Brazil vs Japan; June 30, France vs Sweden; June 30, Ivory Coast vs Norway; June 30, Mexico vs Ecuador; July 1, England vs DR Congo; July 1, USA vs Bosnia-Herzegovina; July 1, Belgium vs Senegal; July 2, Portugal vs Croatia; July 2, Spain vs Austria; July 2, Switzerland vs Algeria; July 3, Argentina vs Cape Verde; July 3, Colombia vs Ghana; July 3, Australia vs Egypt. Most notable matchups: England vs Congo, considered one of the most evenly matched ties in the round of 32, pitting the 3 Lions against a formidable African side. Brazil vs Japan, the Blue Samurai, Asia's great hope, faced the most successful team in World Cup history in a clash between 2 sides renowned for their artistic style of play. Netherlands vs Morocco, a showdown between 2 technically gifted teams that are both currently in excellent form. Portugal vs Croatia, a showdown between Cristiano Ronaldo and Luka Modric, potentially marking the final World Cup appearance for both stars. France vs Sweden, the top title contender faces a physically imposing opponent capable of springing a surprise. Argentina vs Cape Verde, the fairytale story of Cape Verde, a nation with a population of only around 500,000, clashing with Lionel Messi's defending champions, Argentina. Fans have also noted an intriguing detail regarding the tournament bracket. Should they both advance past the round of 32, Spain would face the winner of the Portugal-Croatia match in the round of 16, while France could clash with Germany as early as the round of 8. These are anticipated to be 2 highly exciting, early finals.